If you could describe Billy Joe Saunders in one quick sentence, how would you do so?
A sexy motherfucker.
I'm gonna make sure he go right out the ring, and I might get on the top of the bucket of the rope and come down with a flying elbow kick. Who knows? Who knows?
Hope you get hit by a bus today, you fucking wanker.
Who the fuck is he talking about?
Oh, great shot! Left hand, right hand from Maxwell. Well, where did that come from? I can hardly believe what I've seen. An astonishing turnaround. He gets to his feet and he stops it. He stops it.
And the first time was so nice, I had to do it twice.
Favor of Tyson Fury. And judge at ringside, Phil Edwards scores about 113 to 113. Even a draw. The decision is a split decision draw.
Ooh, how convenient.
They can say anything the fuck they want, and I don't care.
I'm the can man. I'm more Mexican and the rule is this. He's a coward. He's all gut and no heart. Pussy.
Daniel Dibor, I am going to knock you out.
You ain't ready for me, and you never have been, you never will. All your knockout power and 10 men in that ring on the night can't beat Tyson Fury. I'm going to make you fuck yourself.
Oh, go on, man.
Yes. What is up? What is up, MCR family? Everyone's having a fantastic Monday. I know we've been gone for a few days. I blame mainly Gary for that because he had like a birthday thing with his kids in Disney World. Fucking lame. And Rob totally forgot I was in town yesterday. So I blame Rob partially as well, like 20%. So that's why we have not been on the air for a couple of days. I've been here waiting to do a show, but these guys have been gone. But now we're together, formed like Voltron. We're back. It should be a fantastic show. It's going to be a loaded show. First off, obviously, we're going to break down the Mike Garcia, Jesse Vargas card in detail. Plus, obviously, Fury vs. Wilder trilogy. Rematch clause being activated. Joshua Pulev being official. Eddie Hearn talking about a Joshua Fury DAZN pay-per-view. We're going to break that one down as well. Speaking of DAZN, them going global and entering the UK market and battling Sky Sports. I think that's going to be interesting. Canelo Alvarez versus Billy Joe Saunders seems to be official per Canelo's trainer, Eddie Renee. So just a bunch to get into on today's show. So without further ado, let's get to the star-studded panel on Mixed Combat Radio. First up, Mr. Diva, Mr. Robbie Hearns, second cousin, twice removed of Sir Eddie. Rob, thanks for making us late. How are you?
Your king is in good spirits. Your king is here. No, sorry, I couldn't. I was going to try and do the whole thing. Couldn't get through it. Yeah, I'm good. Obviously, yeah, you just got it, Matt.
That was really good.
You know, I'm ready for war or whatever it was. All that good stuff. But yeah, a lot of news. Obviously, we'll break down the card, all the fight news that's coming up. Oh yeah, DAZN coming to the UK. No, we'll get into that and what it might mean. But yeah, hit the thumbs up, share the show, and yeah, Gary, how you doing, man? Good trip to Disneyland.
Gary in Dallas. Gary, how are you, man? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a week since I've been on. Mm-hmm. So my kid was born on Leap Day, so only gets a birthday every 4 years. So every 4 years we're gonna do something big. So we went to Disney World this year. It's good, but it's good to be back. A week in Disney World with 3 kids, 5 and under. It's just, man, is that brutal. But it was a great weekend of boxing. That card I missed in my hometown was absolutely fantastic.
Fake fan.
That sounded like Wilder's monologue. That did. You could hear the
sadness.
Yeah, the sadness. Yeah, trying to be uplifted, trying to be uplifting and positive, but yeah, it wasn't coming across audibly. Whatever.
Audibly.
Is
that we're trying to go for, Rob?
Wasn't coming across. Yeah,
don't
audibly.
Digressing. Back to you, Gary.
Content.
Audibly, same root word, Rob. It's about hearing.
How did you watch the card, Gary? Because you watched it live, so I'm assuming you watched it in your hotel room or something. Like, how did you watch it?
I watched it on my laptop.
Okay.
I streamed it. We had we rented a house about 10 minutes from Disney World.
Airbnb.
Yeah, an Airbnb. So it was cool. I couldn't figure out how to work their TV, so I couldn't stream it to their TV, so I just watched it on my laptop.
Damn.
Yeah, it's all right.
Should have got your wife to do it. She sorts out all your technical stuff, right?
We had 3 kids going crazy at Disney World. So she wasn't gonna sit down and figure out my
deal with the fourth
kid.
The other kid, yeah.
But guys, let's get to that card, obviously in Frisco, Texas. It was a really fun card. Like from top to bottom, it produced a lot of fun action. Let's talk about the marquee fight of the card, the Mikey Garcia Jesse Vargas fight, which cost a lot of millions for DAZN. We're gonna get into whether or not it was worth it. The $7 million alleged purse for Mikey Garcia and whatever Jesse got, which was probably in the 7-figure range as well. But this fight was fun. Like, I know we're gonna talk about how good Mikey looked and whether he should be welterweight, but on its surface, this fight was a lot of fun. Both guys went back and forth. I thought Jesse probably boxed the best he could have done against Mikey Garcia. I thought he utilized the jab quite well. With when he did apply pressure and volume, it worked quite well. Mikey's power in terms of just affecting Jesse Vargas was really apparent. And it was a fantastic fight that had ebbs and flows to it. Guys, thoughts on this fight? I mean, obviously, I don't know where we're going to talk about first, whether or not Mikey can be a true welterweight. I know, Gary, you scored it a draw, I want to say, right? So you even think Mikey won this fight. I scored it, I think, 114-113 for Mikey. So really close. Rob, I don't know what your thoughts really on the fight was. But, guys, thoughts on Mikey's second fight now at 147. How did he look? Did you guys enjoy the fight as well?
All right, so I initially watched it, and I scored the 12th round 10-10. The 12th round wasn't 10-10. Vargas won the 12th round. So after reconsidering it, I had Vargas 114-113. And I'm the Mikey fan here. So I'm not the Mikey hater. I'm the Mikey fan of this group. Guys, Mikey's not a welterweight. It's just like Ricky Hatton. Like, he can do fine at 140, but at 147, he's a much lesser fighter. He got outboxed by Jesse Vargas, right? He won the middle rounds. I had him losing the first 4 rounds. The 5th round was his big round, right? That was the knockdown round?
Yeah. I
had him down 4 rounds to nothing. And then I had Vargas winning the 9th, 11th, and 12th. Like, he only won the middle of the fight because he was able to hurt him. Vargas is a guy that's been hurt before. He's been knocked down by... He's a tough guy, but he's not that hard to punch. He's not that hard to hit. Mm-hmm. But he outboxed Mikey. Like, he outboxed him most of the rounds. Garcia had some moments where he was actually the bigger puncher because Vargas has no power. But how did he almost stop Tim Bradley, who's got an iron chin? Like, these are the things that just don't make any sense.
Tim Bradley, one of those guys, durable, but he can get dropped. He can definitely get dropped, can definitely get hurt, but he's great recovery.
Yeah.
That's Tim Bradley.
Because Provodnikov hit him with the kitchen sink, and he dropped him and hurt him badly, but like he kept getting up. And Pacquiao had him in trouble a bunch of times, and he just kept getting up. Guys, let's say he fought a draw. Let's call it a draw with Vargas, right? Because it was a 50-50 fight. He's a top 10 to 15 welterweight. That's it. That's all he is, right? Because he can beat Broner. Okay, we saw that. But he can't beat Vargas, and he sure as hell can't beat the top 3 guys like Errol Spence. So this is not the best weight class for him. Now, if he gets a Pacquiao payday, obviously he's got to take it. But his timing and his really solid fundamental basis and his power just isn't going to do it for him at 147.
Rob, thoughts on this fight? Thoughts on how Mikey looked? And obviously thoughts on whether or not you think he has a real career at 147.
Yeah, no, it's a really good fight. You can't sort of knock the action and the enjoyment of watching the fight. It was really good. But this was, again, Mikey making his claim to be, a welterweight at 147. And by all reports, potentially it's going to land him a Pacquiao fight. Now, you'd think you'd have to look super impressive and really earn that shot. Like, change people's minds. Or maybe he is maybe after all, look at what a performance. And I know people then would have been like, yeah, but it was Jesse Vargas or whatever. But you know, when it got to the 5th round knockdown, you're like, oh shit, like, you know, fair. I think Vargas is pretty decent chin. He's been in some sort of toe-to-toe battles, and he's, you know, seemed to sort of be there. And Mikey drops him, and you think, wow. And then the fight just carried on, and yeah, it was again still entertaining. But you can look at Mikey Garcia's body and just see he's not doing 147 properly. It's not like a shredded. Not that he's ever really been like a super shredded guy, but
you go back and see him at 130 and 126, it's very different.
Yeah, he's eating or he's not having to cut so much weight to make 147, obviously, but it's on his body as like fleshy. Yeah.
For those that listen right now, you can watch it on YouTube. It's there on YouTube. But the Mike Garcia Roman Martinez fight. Mike Garcia is a tank in that fight. I mean, he is bulky, but he is, like Rob said, like he is in shape. You know, he's not out of shape, and he kind of seemed out of shape in this fight. And
yeah, to be at 147, he looks like he's carrying just a bit of timber. Yeah, like so maybe he needs another fight before looking at this Pacquiao fight. But obviously, money's gonna jump in, and
we're gonna get to the Pacquiao fight later. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, as far as he's not a 147 pounder, quite obviously to me. But
so we're all of the mindset that like we would wish him to drop back down to 140 or 135. You know, if
yeah, I mean, yeah, I think 140 is crying out. Yeah, the only shame of it, I mean, what we I guess would want is maybe him to face the winner of Prograis Hooker at 140. The thing is, I don't think timing wise it'd work out, but let somehow Taylor and Ramirez get their undisputed fight going, and then if Mikey comes through Prograis or Mikey comes through Hooker, they get the shot. But I think if it was Ramirez that was the undisputed, that fight's not going to happen. So I think the big money fights and the most money, which I know some people say Mikey is a bit of a mercenary, you know, he holds out for that big check and he plays hard to get, and people end up paying more for him than maybe, you know, he should get, which is fair enough. Get what you think you're worth or what people are willing to pay. That's fine. But those fights are at 147, and it's just, does he win any of them? Is this in the end, this run that he seems to want to have at 147 going to tarnish what's gone before in his career?
Let me jump in here, guys. Just for the sake of time, because we got to run through a lot of topics here. Especially since Rob is late, cost us 10 minutes of the show. Unless Rob, you can go over. Can you go a little bit late tonight, huh?
We'll see.
We'll see.
Especially now Don King won the Manuel Char, Trevor Bryan purse bid.
Char and Don King's epic quest for peace or world peace, whatever it fucking
He's back that epic quest for peace and won the purse bid. So we'll chop into that later as well.
It's an in-depth topic right there, guys.
We just covered it basically.
True. Mikey, I agree with almost everything that you guys are saying. Like, if not everything. Mikey, I like the comparison to Ricky Hatton, where it just, that speed, that power that he had that they both respectively have at like 135 and 140, it's just not there at 147. It's non-existent at 147, at least comparative to the top. And it just seems obvious that Mikey could reign as a true king of a division at 135 or 140 pounds. 140 pounds probably a little bit tougher for him than 135, in my opinion. I think 135, Mikey is such a dynamic, quick, technical boxer. He can beat everyone there. Like, I'll be honest, if like gun to my head, guys, if I have to pick Mikey versus all of the guys at 135, Loma even, sorry, Foogatti. I know we had a little dispute on Twitter about that. Tifimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Luke Campbell, Javier Fortuna. Mikey beats them all, in my opinion. Like, if I have to pick him against the field, I'm picking him. Okay? Think about what Mikey's legacy would be like if he was at 135 and fighting all those guys and beating them all, like Rob said. But 147, as Rob said, is where the money is. It's clearly where he can go and grab a 7-figure paycheck worth $7 million and go fight a Jesse Vargas. You can't do that at 135. To fight a guy that's maybe number 10 in the world or maybe number 15 in the world at 135 and collect $7 million. You just can't do that. At 147, it's one of the money divisions. Now, you then get into the argument or the discussion or the debate of Mikey. Let's say Mikey loses to Manny Pacquiao, Earl Spence again, obviously, Terrence Crawford, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, maybe. Let's give all 5 of those guys a win against Mikey. If Mikey fought all of them and beat everyone else at 147, is that a better legacy because he fought these great names, this great division, and above his weight, or reigning at 135 against the Haneys and the Tifo Lopez's of the world? I think there's an argument as to which is better, which would be a better legacy for him long term, because I don't think losses determine whether or not you're not a fantastic fighter or not a Hall of Fame fighter, for God's sake. Mikey's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. So the cherry on top, losing to the best guys at 147 and collecting massive paychecks, is that a worse legacy than beating Tifo Lopez? I don't know. But regardless, Mikey's going to do what Mikey wants to do. And I think, as Rob said, he's a mercenary. So he's going to collect the biggest paychecks. He's not going to go back down to 140 or 147. He's going to fight Manny Pacquiao, which we're going to talk about in a bit. But it is what it is. And on top of it, due to Mikey's performance from X and O's perspective, I thought it gave me flashes of Canelo Kovalev, where the smaller guy was just clearly the heavier hitter and wasn't being active enough to win rounds. Now, obviously, Canelo got the knockout at the end and sort of saved him possibly a decision loss, even though I know the judges were doing judges shit and had Canelo up in that fight. But for this fight, those power shots saved Mikey. And I think the added weight actually hampers him athletically to the point where he can't throw as much volume. Mikey is throwing a lot more at 140 and 135. He's not throwing nearly enough at 147. That's because he's packing a lot of weight. And that, I think, hurt him a lot in this fight, getting out-jabbed by Jesse Vargas. He shouldn't be getting out-jabbed by Jesse Vargas. He just didn't have the cardio, the gas tank, so to speak, with all that weight on him to throw back with volume to Jesse. But digressing, guys, any more thoughts on Mikey Garcia versus Jesse Vargas?
Yeah, when Mikey took control of the fight in the 5th round, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th round, and he hurt him, it's like, okay, this is what he was looking to do, right? Because he wasn't jabbing, he wasn't letting his hands go like he should. And it's like, okay, he used the first 4 rounds to time him, and this is what he was looking for. But then once Jesse got his legs back, Jesse outboxed him again. It's like he didn't have the power to put him away. I mean, maybe he was looking, maybe he was timing something through the first couple of rounds, and that's why. But he found it, and he got it, and he couldn't finish it. And then I had Jesse winning 3 of the last 4 rounds on my card. I think most people did, right? Well, maybe not, because one of the judges had wide. So I don't know, but it's whatever he was able to do at 35 and 40. It's just not carrying over at 147. If that fight was at 135, he gets his man out in the 5th round, right? It doesn't go but he doesn't have the power to get big welterweights out. So, look, you say he shouldn't be getting out jabbed by Jesse. Jesse is substantially longer, and Jesse has a good jab, right? Like, Jesse's going to win the battle of jabs with Mikey, and that's a problem. Because
if they were fighting at 140, because Jesse used to fight at 140, obviously,
Mikey would, that's a different.
Mikey would win the battle of the jabs. I believe that. He just didn't throw back enough. He just he was throwing 20, 30 punches around, maybe tops.
Yeah.
The volume was non-existent from Mikey Garcia. What saved him was the knockdowns, was the power shots, was the what I was scoring and what I sort of came down to. Mikey was landing the damaging shots. Jesse Vargas was throwing a lot, but none of it was efficient. None of it was really accurate. None of it was really landing as much. Whatever Mikey was throwing, how little he was throwing, was landing at a very high rate, and were significant power shots. Were definitely hurting Jesse Vargas throughout the fight. But I
wanted to address what you said about his legacy. Would his legacy have been better if he had just stayed at 135? And this might be unpopular, but I would say yes. I love Hopkins, sit out of division and absolutely clean it out. Beat everyone twice, right? just for good measure. To me, yeah, being a great. We talk about Triple G. Triple G could have went up to 168. What if he lost a bunch of times? But he sat at 168. He fought everybody. He didn't beat everybody, but he beat enough guys, right? And he's got a Hall of Fame career now. I think Mikey legacy would have been better had he done that. But he chased the money, and
but the thing is, Mikey's legacy is like, this is the final chapter of his career, in my opinion. This is the final few years that he has left.
Yeah.
And his run at 126 and 130 and at 135 already, I think, is Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
Am I wrong in that?
No, it's Hall of Fame, yeah.
It is, but do you want? Do you know what I mean? You can look back at certain people's careers and you go, "Oh, he was great at this. Near the end, he took on the bigger guy." I don't know. It'll be like, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer, but I think that's always what will come with it. If he stays at 147 and gets beat up, I know he got a win over Jesse Vargas at 147, but if he's going in for the Pacquiaos, he said Errol Spence again. And if he's really going for those fights and gets those fights, does he win those fights?
No.
Probably not. And then from then on, I don't know. It depends on the fan, because some will hold the early stuff in the in the career in such a high regard. Then yeah, he dared to be great, came up short, but what a guy, what a fighting man. Always dared to be great, always pushed himself to fight the best. Others will be like, yeah, he had a good run at the lower weights, but when he stepped up, he just went lost, and that will be, you're only as good as your last fight, kind of, it's that kind of thing. So
I want to challenge you that real quick, Robbie. Always daring to fight the best. He fought Spence. Okay, that's daring to fight the best. Is daring to fight Jesse Vargas daring to fight the best? Or would Lomachenko be a better fight? Or
I think Jesse Vargas is a bad example to bring in this equation. Should be Spence or Lomachenko, because he chose Spence over Loma, not Jesse over Loma.
He could have came back down. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I tried to fight the welterweight. I'm too small. I'm coming back down to lightweight, and then fought Lomachenko at lightweight, not staying at 147 to fight top 10 to 15 guys.
True, but I think even we talked about him dropping down to 135 directly after that was not feasible. I mean, we talked about Canelo dropping back to 160 is not feasible.
So fight Josh Taylor at 140.
No, I agree with that. No. Again, guys, I've already said my opinion. I think Mikey should drop back down to 135. But the argument of him staying at 147, fighting all these guys, and even so, he loses to them. Who cares? Is that still better? Is that better legacy? Because those names at 147 are pound for pound far better than the names at 135 and 140. Right? Am I wrong in that? Obviously, Loma's better than. I mean, I think the Mikey Loma fight would be a legacy-defining fight. But let's say Mikey beats a Manny Pacquiao. Let's say Mikey beats a Danny Garcia, or Sean Porter, Terrence Crawford. I think especially Terrence Crawford isn't as unfeasible. Look at what Kyle Velasquez was able to do.
Did someone on this panel say that Mikey beats Pacquiao?
Gary did. Gary did.
I do that all the time. I've learned that.
Every fucking time, bro. Every time.
Okay. Oh, fuck.
So Gary over here, you picked Mikey to beat Manny Pacquiao a month ago. We had a very lively debate about it.
It was 2 months ago. It was the end of the year. It was the end of
same thing.
That doesn't make you any more stupid.
Oh my God, Rob, using the word that you don't like. Wow.
Danny Garcia too.
I mean, I haven't meant any more or less.
Oh, I would pick Mikey to beat Danny.
No way. After that performance, no shot.
Yeah, I think Jesse could.
Gary's jumped right off the mic.
Danny, all right, Danny. Danny loses to Ugas probably.
Probably.
Danny loses to Mikey.
No, he ain't losing to Mikey.
Yeah, he can. Danny loses to Manny Pacquiao for sure. I mean, Danny's one of those guys that could easily slip down to like 8, 9, 10 in the division. Like, imagine Jesse Vargas versus Danny Garcia.
Wait, who versus? What was that last name you said?
Jesse Vargas versus Danny Garcia.
Danny Garcia wins that. You guys.
No. He wins it, but I mean, it's not. It wouldn't look as drastically different as this fight, probably, where Danny lands enough shots to maybe knock him down a couple times.
If
bring the fight.
If Danny lands like Mikey did, the fight's over. Maybe not in one shot, but when Jesse gets up, Danny's going to end it. Danny picks his power shots so well, and he times his counter shots so well. Like,
knocking out a washed Brandon Rios and Ivan Redcat, who was a super featherweight. Okay,
he trained for that fight. Granados. He destroyed Granados. That's a good name.
Granados, 140 pounder.
He is a 140.
So is Danny.
So is Danny.
Danny was a 140 pounder. Now they're talking about him going up to 54.
I think Mikey loses. If I again gun to my head to use that argument example again, right? He loses to Manny Pacquiao, loses to Keith Thurman, loses to Terrence Crawford, loses to Spence again. But Danny, he could beat Sean Porter. No, he doesn't beat Sean Porter though.
There's cruiserweights that would lose to Keith Thurman right now.
Lawrence Okoli for sure would lose.
Nah, tie him up. Stop all that footwork.
Rob, Mikey versus Danny Garcia. Who you got?
Mikey versus Danny.
The tiebreaker, Rob. The tiebreaker, Rob. All the pressure.
I think that'd be a real fun fight.
It would be.
It
should have happened already.
I think Mikey gives Danny problems, but I don't know. Danny seems to do his thing, right? I don't know.
If you can,
it's a good fight. When that Garcia hashtag Garcia, I was like, yeah. If we're gonna have Mikey at 147, that's all right. I'll take that. Just for the hashtag. But I don't know. I'd have to see fight week how Mikey was looking.
I will say this: Mikey is clearly a top 10 welterweight. He might be number 10.
Who, Mikey?
Number 9, but he's clearly a top 10 welterweight.
Mikey is.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe.
Now the argument is, could he be a top 3 or the number 1 guy, 140, 135, compared to a top 10 guy, 147? Now, that's the discussion I think that's going to plague Mikey's career for the next few years. But guys, we have to move on for the sake of time. Let's just do this now, and then we'll get to the undercard, I guess. The whole Manny Pacquiao, Mikey Garcia thing. DAZN, July 11th, Saudi Arabia. That's what Eddie Hearns is looking for. Sources from us are saying that the Heyman-Pacquiao relationship may not be as solid and maybe just be an option instead of Manny Pacquiao's guaranteed fight next. It has to be with the PBC on Fox or Showtime. So it does open up some avenues for this fight to happen next. Guys, thoughts on this? Because, we've been basically talking around it for some time. Thoughts on Pacquiao, Mikey? Saudi Arabia, Pacquiao doesn't want to deal with the IRS. Thoughts?
I don't want to deal with the IRS either, and I have my first appointment to meet with my accountant. If anyone has any advice, just let me know. Look, Pacquiao has to pay a lot of money in taxes, not just out of that check, but previous monies that he owes for saying he didn't live here or something, right? He probably owes the state of California a bunch of money too. I would guess.
I would guess too. Is yeah.
I think Al's covered it.
Apparently not, because he doesn't want to fight in the U.S.
Quickly, Matthew D'Souza saying Leonard Elby said Pac is tied to PBC for another fight. And again, our sources are saying that's an option. That's a distinct different.
Not a guaranteed in contract fight. Is they've got an option.
But what if he is, and DAZN's just willing to pay him out of it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's a possibility.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The avenues that have been opened up now because of that. Absolutely, DAZN can just come in and outbid, so to speak, PBC, Al Heyman, to where they don't want to pay for a Pacquiao fight.
What's the
$100 million with that Saudi money coming in? Right?
What's the line that always comes out? Al doesn't do lawsuits, isn't it? Don't people say that? Isn't that a?
I don't know about that.
Right. But yeah, from also sort of what we're hearing is that Al is maybe enough of giving Manny Pacquiao huge lumps of cash. So I don't know. I think we're leaning towards this looking quite a likely fight is going to get made, I think, despite Leonard Ellerby laughing emojis at people's reports of this and stuff. But I think there's a good chance that DAZN land Mikey and Manny.
Yeah, obviously it's a huge it's a place that will offer up a huge lump sum for that type of fight. We know Eddie Hearn is obligated to produce big fights for Saudi Arabia going forward. This would equal that, without a doubt. I just don't think Mikey wins that fight. I think Manny Pacquiao wins that fight without a doubt. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, Pacquiao wins without a doubt. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we're all agreed on that.
Oh, you've changed your opinion?
I said
you're allowed to change your opinion.
Yes, I'm picking Manny Pacquiao now. Right? New information has come in, and I've changed my mind.
New information. He went the distance with Vargas. New information is
in a 50-50 fight. Yeah.
No, that's fine. That's fair enough, Gary. Gary, can you tilt your camera up a little bit because you like this little squat little. That's it. Get up on the level.
I feel like he didn't change it. I feel like he just like put it up and back.
Yeah, went back to the settings.
Yeah.
Is that better?
I feel like it's the same.
Is it really?
No, he is. He is a bit better.
It is. It is. It is better. It is better. Let's get to the undercard, guys.
But now you can't see my Texas flag, and it's just for y'all who don't know, it is Texas Independence Day.
Oh well, happy holidays, Gary.
I don't care.
Happy holidays.
But you do a little bit. This day in 1836, some men at the Alamo changed the face of history.
No. Not really. It's gonna happen anyways. Regardless of that, digressing back to the card in Texas. Speaking of Texas, Roman Gonzalez proved me, I think, Rob wrong because Gary picked Roman Gonzalez, and this may be the one time where Gary is right and me and Rob are wrong, guys. I know. I'm sorry to say that hell is frozen over. The apocalypse is happening. That's what it's on. That's obviously one of the signs. But shout out to Roman Gonzalez coming back. I'm so glad to be wrong about this fight. Chocolatito is one of the best fighters in the low weight classes in my lifetime, if not the best. He definitely deserved his pound for pound status some years ago. And it's nice to see him bounce back and maybe add a great epilogue to his career because I didn't think he was going to win this fight. I didn't think he was in shape. I thought he was shot, for lack of a better word. He just did not look good in his two comeback fights since that Rungs VI rematch. But he kind of beat up Yafe. I mean, he kind of bullied him at times. I mean, Yafe definitely, I think, held his own, looked great, but Chocolatito was just too much, man. That swarm of just punches and volume. And then, I mean, it was so vintage like Roman Gonzalez. His ability to shift position from side to side laterally while throwing combinations, while adjusting his head movement to slip off the center line. Like, it is so beautiful to watch in terms of just boxing technique at work. And I'm so excited to see him back. Guys, thoughts on this co-main event? That was a really fun fight. And again, a true comeback, so to speak, for a legend in Roman Gonzalez.
Yeah, first of all, to go on what you just said, I think it was Mike Costello. I was listening today to the BBC boxing podcast, and he said if anyone wants to go back and watch this fight, he said like it's been uploaded on the Sky YouTube channel and stuff like that, or probably on the Zones as well. I'm not sure, but I can't remember what round he said, but just go back and watch. There's a period in there of just the most sublime display of in the pocket, up close, just like setting up shots, the movement. It's just an absolute masterclass. My question is, like, I think your fight just sort of came in and sort of made it like available to be Chocolatito's kind of fight, if you know what I mean. I don't know if he felt like we've taken this fight. There's a good chance this guy might be on the slide. Let me stick it on him early. Let me try and put it on him early.
Yeah.
But your fight traditionally has been in slightly boring fights that, you know, kind of back foot boxing and that kind of thing. But he kind of went into Chocolatito's sort of territory. And when it wasn't working, nothing really kind of changed. I didn't think your fight kind of had a a plan B. I think there was a period where he tried, but Chocolatito, just the way he closes the gap, cuts off that ring, things like that. Yafai seemed to find himself with his back to the ropes. But I think that's what it was. It was a calculated risk of Yafai finally getting that big shot, that big name. And it was kind of like, is this guy, is he potentially not what he was? This is a good one for us. It'll look great for us if we win. But shout out Chocolatito. He's one of, I know it seemed to be trending. Chocolatito's back. You know, the guy's back. But we'll see. You know, the thing with Yafai, he struggled with landing that big fight. You know, he's the UK's longest reigning champion, I think, like 4 or 5 years. And in that time, it was like 6th defense. This was his 6th defense or something like that, or maybe the 7th. But wasn't like super active. Wasn't necessarily against like the, you know, this was like the step up, and it proved to be just that, you know, a bit too much. But I think Eddie mentioned they've now got Chocolatito, like an option on Chocolatito's next fight. There's possibility of a rematch with Yafai, but he believes Yafai will potentially move up now, and which might then lead to a big fight with Chocolatito, with I don't know, like Estrada or someone like that. But I've got a feeling Maloney should be possibly getting finally being the mandatory, because he kept getting put off against Yafai. But we'll see. But yeah, great to see Chocolatito roll back the years and you know, claim another title. And it was just great seeing the kind of the Twitter, you know, swell of appreciation to see Chocolatito, because I know sometimes a lot of people, like, there's a big support for Chocolatito, and there's also the detractors that say, well, I don't even know why this guy was on anyone's pound for pound list, and it's kind of crazy talk. But yeah, shout out Chocolatito, done his thing.
If you hear anyone say that Chocolatito should not have been on pound for pound list, don't listen to those people. You should not listen to those people talk about boxing. They're stupid people. And I gotta say, man, I agree with you that Yafai was trying to sort of bully Gonzalez because he thought he was sort of faded, and that just backfired drastically. And also gotta say, if Maloney beats Joshua Greer, no, not that Maloney. You think it's the other Maloney, huh? It's is it Andrew Maloney, Rob? Because it's Jason Maloney is at 118, and Andrew.
Yeah, I think you got it right. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I've got the Maloney's mixed up. I was thinking
maybe
Jason Maloney beating Joshua Greer gets Gonzalez. I'm like, oh no, wait, wrong division. That would be stupid. But Gary, thoughts on Roman Gonzalez coming back and looking vintage-like in his performance?
Masterpiece performance, right? But I'm going to say the same thing that I said about Yafai as I did with Tevin Farmer a few weeks ago. He helped him out. Like, he fought. Why would you stand in front of him? And this isn't Jojo Diaz, so this was even dumber, right? Like, this is one of the all-time best offensive powerhouses ever in the smaller weight classes. Maybe the best. And you're going to stand in front of him when you're the slicker guy? I mean, look, all kudos to Chocolatito. He did exactly what he had to do. But yeah, if I got in his head that he's the bigger guy, and he probably was the bigger guy. He was the bigger guy, right? It's not like Jojo Diaz. Like, Tevin wasn't bigger than Jojo, right? Not noticeably anyway. You probably was the bigger guy. But that doesn't make you the bigger puncher. You're not going to bully Chocolatito around, even though he's in his 4th weight class. Like, he's an offensive Hall of Fame fighter. Like, an all-time great Hall of Fame fighter. And you're going to stand in there and fight his fight? I mean, and he did well for the first 4 rounds. It's all right. It was pretty even. But you can see my punches do more damage than your punches. So if we trade evenly, I win. And that's what happened. Eventually, he broke him down. And Chocolatito's just, his combinations and his punches are so good and so precise. There's nothing you're going to do about it. You're not going to beat him that way, right? So, again, a heck of a performance for Chocolatito. But, Cal, he's an Olympian, right? Like,
I want to say so, yeah. Rob, resident UK expert, yeah, okay, saying yes.
You use those skills, get on your bike a little bit, circle him and circle him and circle him, and don't ever stand in front of him. right? I mean, look, if they rematched again, I think Chocolatito would still win. But if he boxed him, it would be competitive, and Chocolatito would have to think a lot more.
I agree completely that Callafe just did not box to any of his betterment at all. Like he was clearly fighting to a disadvantage, fighting in Roman Gonzalez's wheelhouse, his range, his volume, his tempo. Like he just fought Gonzalez's fight from round 1 on. And you're right. If he fought in the back foot, uses jab more, box more, play more of a counter boxer, and he probably would maybe not won, but had far more success in this fight, without a doubt. He just thought, I think like most of us did, that Roman Gonzalez wasn't the same anymore, and he kind of was still to a degree. But on that point, thoughts on his future now at 115, guys? Obviously, we have Estrada out there who had just beat Rungsvia, and then he had another fight against, who was it? What was the guy's name? Beeman? Dwayne Beeman, right?
Yeah.
That was like in December, I want to say. Is that trilogy fight the obvious one next, even though Gonzalez has 2 up on Estrada? Or should the Rungsvia fight be next, even though Rungsvia is 2 up on Chocolatito? Or should it be like Ioka or a Plete or the Tanaka Ioka winner? What should Gonzalez do next? And can he beat the other top guys at 115? Maybe Urin and Cajas, something like that, for another unification. Thoughts on really how much is left in Roman Gonzalez's sort of gas tank for his career?
It looked like there's a lot left, right? And look, Estrada, a trilogy with Rungvisai, Julio Cesar Martinez would be amazing. Yeah. Like there are so many, even in Chaos, I would say, because he'll beat in Chaos. Fight in Chaos, get his belt, and then go get Estrada, right? Unless you want to take Estrada now, right? Because he's already beat Estrada.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the biggest fight right now. I would love for that fight. I don't know what Estrada has planned, like, because there are so many big names. Palikte, they all want a new at 118. There's so many at Martinez at 112. Between 112 and 118, there are just so many names. As long as they all fight each other, I don't really care what order they do it in. But if I was matchmaking Chocolatito, I would have him unify, have him take on Chaos's belt, which would make the Estrada fight even bigger. You do that in LA, and I think it would do a big number for a little man fight.
If I were to pick, and Rob, I'm going to sort of want your sort of what you would want, your personal preference for Gonzalez next. I want him to wait. And if he can't wait, like you said, Gary, go fight in Cajas, go collect another belt. But if he can wait and fight the winner of Ioka Tanaka in Japan when coronavirus is done with, you're going to have fights back in Japan. Because I'm assuming Tanaka is going to win that fight. And Tanaka versus Roman Gonzalez is what we should have got years ago with Inoue versus Roman Gonzalez. So that's what I want. But obviously Estrada trilogy fight, Rungsvia trilogy fight, those are all fights that are big money fights that make a lot of sense and determine sort of who is the king at 115. Rob, what would you want next for Chocolatito?
I'd like to see a unification for sure. At 32, like I don't want to get super high on the fact that Chocolatito won. He's back. He's better than ever. This like that kind of narrative. But I think at 32 in these lower weights, that is quite an age. How many fights is that now? Like it's got to be like 50, right? Is it 50 something?
I'll just write over.
I'm not too sure, but you got to think.
Yeah, 51 now.
Yeah, it's going to be not much further down the line that this guy's going to, bow out. So I'd like to see a unification. I mean, look, there's like hardcore boxing fan wet dream right now with Chocolatito winning a title back with, the likes of, like, say, an Estrada, Rungvisai, Yeah, I think they're like that. And Cajas maybe go and get a bout, and then because I think Estrada's lined up. Is it Quadras? Who's fighting Quadras? Is that Estrada? I think possibly.
I didn't know that fight was.
Who's fighting Quadras? Someone will tell me. I can't remember, but I think some guys are going to be busy, so it might not line up straight away. So go do something else, get a fight, maybe like you say, and then Cajas fight, and then look for a big unification. Because that would be some story if he was to come back, unify the division, and whether he bows out or whatever, or does he gatekeeper it and someone else comes along and takes the belts off him. But yeah, it's some story. The guy's class. So we'll see. But like I say, Eddie Hearn says with him winning that fight, now has an option on Chocolatito going forward. So we'll see what comes of it.
Agree completely, guys. Let's talk about briefly the rest of the undercard. Israel Madrimov picked up a win against Charlie Navarro. Joseph Parker picked up a win against Shondell Terrell Winters. Diego Pacheco picked up a win against Oscar Rojas. And Alex Espano picked up a win against Devicio Savage. I have really no big thoughts about anything that happened on this undercard other than Joseph Parker took a guy out that we expect him to take out. I'm ready for Joseph Parker to fight other heavyweights that matter. Tired of these tune-ups that make no sense, to be honest. Madrimov, I'm getting huge Emmanuel Augustus vibe, so I'm not going to really say that he's the next king of anything because I'm just getting Augustus vibes from him. That's not a bad thing. Just that's why I'm getting, that perception of him, that style. It's very reminiscent of Emmanuel Augustus, the drunken master. And I'll be honest, I don't remember the Alex Espano Diego Pacheco fight that well. I don't remember those fights. I watched them there live, but I didn't go back and watch them on repeat like I've watched the other fights.
They got good solid rounds. They got some opponents that were hung in there and got some good solid rounds. I was impressed with Pacheco still. He still looks very measured, and for an 18-year-old kid, he looks very poised and just very measured, level-headed kid, and not like sort of desperate to impress and looking great. I think he looks really good. Espino, I think he's going to be in fun fights, put it that way. Madrimov, I am high on him. I think he's great. I think he needs to just tone it down a wee bit. I think he's trying to do too much, trying to look a little bit too legit. But God, when he gets it right and the shots come off with the movement, the kind of duck under the shot and sway to the. There's one point where he done like about three head moves, three head bobs, and he ducks under a shot and lets go with the combat. And it's classy. It really is classy. The guy's like got nearly 400 amateur fights, so they can, I guess, look to push him now. He wants anybody, but I like it. But I'd like him just to tone it down. I think he's trying to do a little bit too much of the flashy stuff. But yeah, I liked him. But what was it? Oh, Joseph Parker. Yeah, he done what he was supposed to. Now let's see. Your former champion. Let's see you get back in the mix. Really. I'm sure we'll have one more fight that then might line up. He's back on the Chisora, the Whites and things like that he said he'll fight anyone again in the UK. I guess he enjoyed the paychecks. I don't know, because I guess if he's with one of those, it'll be a pay-per-view as well. So
yeah, the problem is like there's not a lot of names that are available. Everyone seems to be tied up in the heavyweight division at the top. Parker, Povetkin, White. We have obviously Usyk, Chisora, which we're going to get to. Hunter, but like that's not a UK fight though.
No. I'm just saying about him.
That's a fun fight. Him wanting to go back to the UK. I'm thinking of UK names.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Makes sense. Like like Dave Allen, but like does anyone want to see Joseph Parker, Dave Allen? Let's be honest, guys. We don't need to. I totally forgot. Sorry, Ellie. I totally spaced it. I can't believe I did. Julio Cesar Martinez, Jay Harris. I don't know why I just skipped over that one.
I was going to ask you, going to skip that one? That was a heck of a.
I apologize, guys. It's because we have a lot to get get to on today's show, so I'm trying to get through as fast as possible because it's a lot, and Rob was late, so
only a little bit. Jesus,
Rob, you give Gary so much shit. I'm giving you shit. Don't worry about it.
Once in a blue moon. Come on.
Julio Cesar Martinez, though, and Jay Harris too, man. Like, just amazing stuff from both guys. I'm so happy to be proven right on both sides that I picked Martinez to win, but I knew Jay Harris was a credible top 10 player. I knew he was going to give him some work, and I even thought like he could give him the work that we thought Charlie Edwards could give him, and he did. I mean, he was landing good combinations at range. I thought his creativity in terms of just working uppercuts, left hooks from weird angles, I thought was really nice stuff. And again, the punishment he sustained, oh my fucking God. Martinez landed hellacious blows on him. I mean, oh my God. And Harris took it all and went the distance. I mean, that's incredible. I cannot wait to see Jay Harris again. And obviously Martinez is fantastic. Though I will say the holes in his style are becoming apparent, where you do think a guys like Tanaka could have really tuned him up to a degree at range, at that mid-range to long range. He is susceptible to getting hit, and he's also one to not really cut off the ring that well. So he ends up like chasing you. And Jay Harris was catching him in traps constantly. And guys like Tanaka could really capitalize on that, but he's not in the division anymore.
Have you got 1 foot off the train?
No.
But a little bit. Oh, he gets hit a bit. Oh, he's not very good at this. He's not the beast.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, you told me I was crazy because I said, yeah, I think Tanaka beats him. I mean, maybe not for sure, but I would pick Tanaka.
I would still pick Martinez to win that fight. Don't get me wrong. But the path to victory is there to a degree, when against Edwards, it was non-existent, right? And Edwards on paper was supposed to represent that path to victory that we saw on Saturday. You just have to be on top of it. You have to be such a fast lateral mover. You have to be such a good boxer. There's not really anyone that exists at 112 that fits what you need to have to beat Martinez right now. People at 115 are maybe just too big. So guys like Estrada, Rungzi, even Gonzalez to a degree, right on the inside. Ooh, that'd be amazing. They are just perhaps too big for Martinez, because Martinez is not a giant guy in those divisions. But still, you still have that question. Who's that boxer that could really outbox Martinez? There's not really that person there, except for maybe Tanaka. That's the only person I would say.
Right. I thought Rosales had the length to outbox him and work his body, and that didn't work. Right. Like he had, like, I think Rosales did what he wanted to do. It just didn't work. Right. Yeah. I can see holes in him, right? But I mean, he is such a powerhouse offensively. I mean, he goes to the high guard, and you can tee off on his body, and then sometimes he'll just drop his lead hand and be in a loose guard, and then you can just tee him off with jabs and right hands. Like I can see but like you better have a lot of pop, and you better get the hell out of the way, right? Like you can beat him, but it's gonna take a perfect fight to beat him. And I think Tanaka is good enough offensively, and he's got a sturdy enough chin where Tanaka can be the guy to do it. Like I thought, like Rosales has a chance, and then it's like, okay, he blew Rosales out. He's really good, but I don't want to say he's one dimensional. He's an offensive come forward fighter, and if
offensively he's extremely fucking gifted, and he's extremely very
gifted, yeah,
and he does everything well, but defensively, not so gifted, I would say.
You can fight a disciplined fight, box him from the outside. If I was Tanaka, I would say don't even get into the mid range with him. Just try to keep it on the outside, and try to tie him up on the inside. Because if you let him work on the inside, you're gonna, you know what I'm saying. You want to keep him at a distance. Again, I would pick Tanaka, but I'm not like 100% confident in that pick by any means.
Rob, any thoughts?
No, yeah. I'll just go along with what you guys are saying. I just want to give a quick shout out to Amazon robot that replied to Sergio Mora. Mora gave out a tweet like, because I don't know if you guys know, but Jay Harris works at Amazon, like a depot, and Sergio Morris wanted to congratulate Amazon on having a guy with such big balls working for them, and they just got a generic bot reply from the Twitter.
Thank you for your experience.
Thank you for your experience. And then like the initials of who apparently replied to you, you know, like some personal message. It's like, no, it's just a bot reply because you just didn't have anything to do with what Sergio was saying. But it's kind of funny. But yeah, shout out to Harry, you know, real heart, gutsy, ballsy performance. And yeah, you done yourself proud. And I think, you know, going forward, there'll be, you know, big fights for him. But yeah, he took a shot of a selfie of himself in hospital. He looked like he'd been run over. But no, real good fun fight. And I think, especially, you know, that side of the pond, and even here, to be fair, I think a lot of people felt this Jay Harris was coming along to get blown out by Martinez, but boxing Twitter just sat up, and just everyone, the haters, the supporters, everything were like, fucking Jay Harris is he's legit, you know, good on him. What a heart, what guts. He's a tough motherfucker, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it was all across it. So he can hold his head up high. Well, once it's healed, but great fight, really good performance from both guys, really, but a real fun fight.
Agreed. Let's move on, guys, for the sake of time. Sorry, Gary, we gotta move on. We have so much to get to. We've only been through one topic. We've been on air for an hour, guys. We gotta move on. Extraordinary high theft of pay-per-view. We're gonna talk about Fury Wilder and all that fun stuff. Kevin Ollie of Yahoo Sports has been the one that's been reporting this. It seems the 10 to 20 million illegal streams of the pay-per-view fight live. Also, just to sort of wrap up any sort of particulars about this all, in terms of the Wilder Fury, the second fight, it's official that the gate was 16.9 million. Tickets sold 15,210. Comps 84. I thought that was really low number. I was actually kind of shocked at how low the comps were for that fight. But then again, the gate revenue, it's not too shocking because they had to make their money back. They had to make people fucking pay for this fight. But obviously, guys, let's talk about the declaration by Deontay Wilder via Bob Arum, letting us know via the media and the public now that Deontay Wilder has exercised his contractual clause for a trilogy fight with Tyson Fury. They're looking for a mid-July fight in Vegas. They were talking about moving it to later in the year. I think this was a Boxing Scene article talking about this. I think it was like Keith Heidecker, Jake Donovan talking about it. But they didn't want to wait for the Raider Stadium. They didn't want to wait for the mainstream sports to kick in. So they thought just jump on it in mid-July. Guys, thoughts on Fury Wilder 3? Not official, obviously, yet, but it's very nearly there, it seems, I would say. I would not be shocked that we get an announcement for Wilder Fury or Fury Wilder 3 before Canelo's fight. Would not be shocking.
Very quick. I don't know if you've seen Dan Raphael's, but it seems July 18th at MGM Grand is where they're hoping to go with this, and date-wise, which I believe, Matt, that's going to be the week after International Fight Week at the UFC in Vegas as well. So potentially you're going to have McGregor and Tyson Fury fans in Vegas within a couple of weeks, within a week of each other. So could be pretty crazy if you can get yourselves down to.
And I would not be surprised to see more cross promotion from those two.
This is whereas I think Fox maybe took the lead a little bit as far as, you know, the Super Bowl stuff, this and that. This is going to be ESPN and ESPN Plus's opportunity to push this trilogy, because it's all going to be able to do it through UFC events and all that kind of thing. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out, because I think with some of the numbers, it suggests ESPN Plus was a big chunk of the numbers over like the Fox numbers. regarding the pay-per-view for the rematch. But yeah, I don't think there was ever a doubt in my mind that Wilder was going to trigger the rematch clause. He kind of had to. It's kind of like the whole Ruiz beating Joshua. Like people, Joshua, maybe just step away, get a tune up, get the confidence back, and then look to fight Ruiz later down the line. It's like, no, you can't. You need to go in there, do the rematch, try and get back what you lost. And now, because Joshua has done that to a degree, I'm not saying that's made Wilder. Oh, Joshua did it. I better do it. I think Wilder would have done it anyway because it's that kind of guy. And clearly, he was hanging in there in the actual rematch itself. Didn't want the tail thrown in, and that's that fighter's mentality. As much as he got bashed up, he got up twice. Well, even after a couple of falls as well, he looked spent, but he was, he even fired back in that final combination when Fury threw the straight right there, the 1-2, caught him again. Wilder threw back even though he was done. So he's a fight. He's a fighting guy, and he was always going to trigger this. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see Vegas again, MGM again, potentially July 18th after McGregor boys have destroyed Vegas as well.
Ellie in the chat saying, so this is going to be a solely Top Rank ESPN show or another co-promotion or co-network. It's still a co-promotion co-network. I think just Fury just gets the lion's share of the revenue. He gets 60% now. That was the only difference, I think, for the rematch or the trilogy fight per se. Gary, thoughts on Fury Wilder 3 rematch clause being activated?
I love that it was exercised right away, and I love the rematch. I think these are the two best heavyweights in the world, so let them keep fighting. They want to keep fighting each other, keep fighting each other. I'm into it, right? You got my unreasonable amount of money for the next pay-per-view, but was it competitive enough that you think the casual fan will buy it again? Do you think they'll be? Yeah, you think so? You don't think it was like they're like, oh, that was too much, that was too one-sided, I'm not going to buy it again?
I see boxing fans hating the trilogy fight more than casual fans. The hardcore hipster community on boxing Twitter that hates anything other than AJ or Usyk, and more so Usyk because they're hardcores, right? They hate the idea of this. It should just be Fury, Joshua, and Wilder can fight Ruiz, and the winner can fight each other, and that's just not reality. Like, you're more likely to get a trilogy fight now than ever with these two. Like, you're more likely to get a trilogy fight in July than at any other point in the future. I don't think it happens a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now if they push it back. It just won't happen again. Sorry. And again, this is a combination of fighters that produced half of the most memorable heavyweight fights of the last 20 years.
Right. That's why I don't understand, like, why would people be upset about it? You got the two best heavyweights in the world. You don't want them to keep fighting each other?
Now, if people have the opinion that Wilder won't adapt and this fight's going to be one-sided again, that's fine. You can have that opinion.
Okay.
Let Wilder prove that to you. That's kind of how this game works. So, like, but again, I think you have boxing hardcores and hipsters that like people like Usyk and Loma and Inoue and, the hardcores, and they don't want this because it's not purist enough for them.
I love Usyk, right? And let Usyk take out Joshua. Let him get those belts. And then when these guys are done fighting, Usyk can fight the winner. Like, I don't understand why it's like Fury's fighting Wilder again, so therefore he can't fight Usyk. Like, no, that'll happen too. Like, I promise you, once Usyk beats Joshua, that fight will happen. Usyk will fight Fury, and I all bets are off on that one.
Matthew D'Souza question: if there wasn't a contract to rematch, would you still be pushing for it? Yeah, because it just makes sense. Let's say there's no rematch clause. You still have AJ with 2 mandatories he needs to fulfill this year, and he's a 2-fight year fighter. So AJ's busy this year, in my mind. And like Gary said, you have 2 of the top 3 heavyweights in the world fighting for a trilogy fight. When the record is 1-0-1 or 0-1-1, depending how you look at it. Yeah, I think a trilogy fight is necessary, if not a 4th and 5th fight, because there's that draw. Like, that's how do people not want to see Pacquiao Marquez 4?
Of course they did. But that was that was one draw which Pacquiao probably won, and then 2 wins that Pacquiao got that Marquez definitely won. right? Like that was a little different. There was no, but you're right. No, and if they fought a fifth time, if they fought tomorrow, you got my money.
And there was people begging for a fifth fight from Marquez, and Marquez was like, "No, I'm good. I knocked him out.
Yeah.
I'm good."
Yeah.
Full stop.
And we're like, "No, Marquez, please." So as long as the best keep fighting the best, who cares if they fight 3 times? Jake LaMotta and Sugar Ray Robinson fought what 7, 8 times?
8 times, yeah.
I think they fought like 6, but still, like
24.
And LaMotta won only 1 fight.
Yeah.
So come on, guys. Like this is completely fine. And again, I think Wilder, like Rob said, whether or not it was because AJ exercised the rematch clause and therefore the perception now he had to, it doesn't matter. I think he was going to. I think regardless of that, he had to because he got washed so bad in that rematch to go and fight a Wanaki or a Duhapis or something like that. I mean, that would be a bigger PR bluster than blaming the costume, in my opinion. Even though that is a giant PR bluster.
Oh.
But Rob, imagine if like I'm good on the rematch. I'm gonna go fight Robert Helenius next.
Oh fuck yeah. Yeah.
Like people would come at him far more aggressive than the whole costume bullshit.
I mean, the costume thing's gonna go with it's gonna be there, for whoever is gonna constantly bring up the costume. But yeah, if he'd have gone, no, because like I say, even with Joshua doing his, that's then just ammunition. Joshua did it. Joshua went straight back in. He wanted to test himself again, and you decided. Even if people think it's the sensible route, like a lot of people felt that Joshua taking a step back, just for, that was the sensible thing. But you've got to, if you're these fighting guys, and especially like Wilder and a puncher, it's like no, I just had an off night. I'll get him in the next one. I'm going to knock it. He'll be back on the same thing. I'm going to knock him out. So there's no doubt about it. And look, if you're one of these people that are like, look, Fury, in my mind, beat him on the front foot in the first fight, on the back foot, sorry, and then he's walked forward and walked him down and absolutely bashed him up in the second. I don't need to see a trilogy. Don't buy it. It's quite simple. I'm sure.
I would say you're a weirdo if you think that.
No, I'm saying, but I still believe those.
No, I know what you're saying.
I still think they stream it.
Okay, yeah. If you don't think it's worth $80, I mean, look, it's not worth $80. So I mean, if you think it's not a pay-per-view worthy fight, then stream it.
But regardless of pay-per-view, like if you just don't like the fight, there's something wrong with you if you don't like that fight. Seems like I think if people don't like the idea of Canelo Triple G 3, like there's something wrong with you. Like why wouldn't you want that? Maybe you might personally, because of your bias, want other matchups, but to say I don't like that matchup makes no sense. Right. Makes logical sense to me.
It doesn't make logical sense, and I'm fine with a Triple G fight, but there's other fights I wanted to see, right? And especially Triple G getting his clock cleaned by Derevchenko. It's like. Now, like, go ahead, make it. Like, I understand they had 2 really, really close fights, so make a third one. But I would rather see something else.
But you wouldn't be on Twitter saying, I don't want to see this. This fight sucks. No, that doesn't make logical sense. But moving on.
I mean, I do get people feel Joshua beat him in both fights, and second time round,
Fury
comprehensively.
Fury.
Fury. Did I say Joshua?
Freudian slip there.
I'm just speaking, Nostradamus kind of things. Dominated him to a degree in the first fight and absolutely destroyed him in the second fight. I think for some, I get that they're like, do we need to see it again? Like it's only going to go one way. Then their thought on the outcome is ruling them wanting to see it again because they think, well, he's been dominated twice now.
No, I get it, but I still think it's weird. Like I thought Canelo outboxed Triple G beautifully in the first fight. I thought he won that fight. Thought he dominated Triple G in the second fight. I still want to see the Triple G fight. I think it's
that word away dominated. I scored both fights for Canelo. You throw that word dominated around way too liberally. That's like
no, I don't. Only with Canelo and that second Triple G fight.
Would
everything
people?
Else I don't.
Would people say I don't want to see Mayweather Canelo too, because Mayweather completely dominated Canelo in the first one?
I would still love to see Mayweather Canelo too.
Yeah, everyone would.
Oh no, Mayweather's 42 years old. He hasn't had a real fight. Don't give me a kickboxer or McGregor. Mayweather hasn't had a real fight in 5 years. You want to see him fight the best guy in the sport now? Only if you want to see him lose.
Yeah, sure.
I want to see him lose. I want to see Mayweather lose. Fine, okay, then. But don't tell me. I think
Isn't that why everybody watches Mayweather?
I think you're misconstruing what we're saying here. Would we like if they announced for Cinco de Mayo it's Mayweather Canelo 2, right? Would I start saying that fight's shit? I don't want to see that. No, I would be like, that's a good fight. I'm okay with that. Is it Triple G3? No. Is it Andrade? No. Is it Charlo? No. Is it Saunders? No. Is it Callum Smith? No. Is it David Benavidez? No. Is it Better Beef? No. But it's still a good fight. I'm not gonna sit there and say it's a shit fight.
it's a guy who hasn't literally fought in 5 years. Now you're gonna come out and roll out.
He hasn't lost since the fucking 96 Olympic Games.
Let's just say Eric Gomez did say we were going to be surprised.
I was waiting for someone to put Jose Luis Castillo when you said he hasn't lost since the Olympics, right? Because there's always one guy in the room who goes, Castillo beat him.
Yeah, he handpicked all his opponents. He never fought anyone.
Let's move on, guys, because we have to for the sake of time. Joshua Pulev is official, guys. Joshua Pulev, June 20th. Oh, what? Did not mean to do that. Boom. There we go. Sky Sports Box Office. Rob, thoughts on this fight being announced? Also at Tottenham's Stadium, right where the Hotspurs play.
Just Spurs. The Spurs. Just Spurs.
I didn't say the Spurs. I said the Hotspurs.
Yeah, all right. No, I think it was on another day. You said the Spurs, and it's not like we're not.
Maybe I was talking about the Spurs in basketball.
No, you said it about this fight.
They're not hot. I said the Spurs, the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah,
they're not hot.
They were.
No. But yeah, it's finally announced. I thought at one point, Fury and Wilder were going to fight twice before Joshua's next fight was announced. But we got there, got it over the line. I think that new stadium is legit. It's got its own brewery. It's got in the stadium. That's pretty cool. So there's plenty of beer ready for everybody. But no, finally got it. It's Pulev. It's a mandatory. I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to get the fight of the year candidate or anything like that. So we can move on to the next one as far as I'm concerned.
Gary, thoughts on Joshua Pulev being official? It's announced.
I mean, let's get it over with. Let's get it over with. Let's. I wish they would do it tomorrow. Instead, we got to wait. What is that? 3 more months for it? All right. I'm not. I get it, and I think Pulev deserves a title shot for what he does in the ring. Like,
not outside the ring.
Not outside. Well, I guess that was technically inside the ring too, right? But was it outside the ring?
Yeah, it was in the locker room.
Was it in the ring? Wasn't it? No.
Stop saying in the ring.
It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Look, Pulev's put together some wins.
In a mouth, not a ring.
Rob, come on. Come on.
This has the potential to be a snooze fest. That's all. And I got Joshua by wide decision, but I think it's going to be not fun.
No, the KO streak begins again.
Moving on, Marcos Villegas was interviewing Eddie Hearn on the topic of Joshua still, though, and talking about Joshua Fury, and he presented something quite interesting here, that this would be a DAZN pay-per-view to try to make that fight. Obviously, dealing with the US factor, UK factor, I think wouldn't be an issue. I think it would be some sort of similar to the US co-network, BT, Sky, for that sort of fight. I think that's what you would have in some way. But in the US, you dealing with DAZN versus a linear TV platform that wants pay-per-view. That's a significant difference than BT versus Sky. DAZN pay-per-view would be interesting. It would be funny, I think, if DAZN, the entity that was going to kill pay-per-view, then did a pay-per-view. You know, like the joke's right itself right there. Rob, Are you concerned though about the U.S. factor for making that fight? Because it will happen eventually. Joshua Fury or Fury Joshua, depending who's a side and who really cares. But from the U.S. perspective, I feel like it would be much tougher to make that fight than the UK side. Am I wrong in that?
How do you mean? Joshua?
In terms of the TV networks working together. Because you have BT and Sky. I feel like they could work together because they're the same system. They work off the same system. They're both TV networks. While ESPN and DAZN, to make a co-network fight singular event is a little more difficult, because what ESPN and Fox just did is that if you bought it off DirecTV, half the money for the pay-per-view obviously went, or whatever half is, whatever they agreed with their distributors for DirecTV and all that, they got a percentage, and then the network split their end, and then the fighters get their end. And then ESPN, you can buy it off ESPN Plus or Fox Sports Go. But with Joshua Fury in the US, would it just be available on DAZN for $20 a month or $8.99? Or would they do DAZN pay-per-view to match it on the ESPN side of it? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, like you say, it's the whole pay-per-view is dead thing coming back. I don't know. I think they'll cope with the mini media backlash for the sake of the undisputed fight.
And to make money.
Yeah, and make a fuck ton of money. I would imagine. I mean, I don't know. Is a Joshua Fury fight that big in America? I don't know.
I think it's big. I think Joshua Fury, let's say it's in the UK and it's on a weird time pay-per-view. You can make a legit argument. I don't think it would do this, but you can make an argument that you could perceive Fury Joshua, even if it's in the UK or in Saudi Arabia or wherever, and it's pay-per-view in the US, it could do, better than Wilder Ortiz 2, better than Spence Porter. Like, it could do 300,000 to 400,000 pay-per-view.
I was thinking 300,000 plus. Because look, Fury's a star now, like especially after that performance.
Yeah,
star.
And if you do 300,000 to 400,000 pay-per-view buys in the US when that fight's in the UK or Saudi Arabia, that's pretty fucking impressive.
Yeah, I mean, Joshua Ruiz 2 or Ruiz Joshua 2 allegedly did around near the million mark, right? And that's just on the streaming side, in the US, or 800,000, somewhat along those lines. But I don't know. You then do it as a pay-per-view, but I don't know. Yeah, I think it do well. I just mean, for the undisputed fight, ideally, I guess it would be an American guy against as far as garnering that worldwide attention, or at least our two markets. But yeah, no, I'm optimistic that this fight could get made.
No, I think it could easily get made. I just think that DAZN would have to get a little bit creative.
I mean, Joe Markowski was asked about it in a Q&A kind of on stage with Mannix at the Dallas. I think it was after the weigh-in or the press conference. They just had Eddie Hearn, Joe Markowski, I think Devin Haney, and I can't remember the other guy. But Mannix was kind of leading the question, and I think Joe Markowski suggested we can do this. We're willing to work with whoever, and there's ways that this can get done. He didn't give away too much, but whether that just meant we'll just also do it for the same price as ESPN will do it, then yeah, fine. But
when the money is there, fights get made, and the money is there for Fury Joshua.
Yeah, especially with Saudi Arabia looking to
absolutely
put assault.
I think that Frank Warren will be willing to play ball to get all the belts on his side, so that he can then have Daniel Dubois whenever he's ready to steamroll over everyone and take home all the belts. He'll have that all on his own. Like that. That'll be my baby. You know what I'm saying?
You mean Joe Joyce?
Do you think that Fury?
Joe Joyce. Yeah.
Gary, do you think Fury could A, beat everyone in the division, and B, stay around long enough to where he could fight Dubois for that fight, or are you just living in fantasy land there, Gary?
I like Fury. So I've been a Fury guy for I like Fury, But can he beat everyone right now? Yes. The amount of time that he can beat Daniel Dubois is probably ticking away pretty quickly. Like, it's going to be Daniel Dubois' turn pretty soon.
I'm telling you,
Dubois Texan.
if Fury claims the position as the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, he's gonna roll a big fat cigar, throw those belts in the air, and say, "Catch you later, fellas. It's been emotional."
I think that's what he would do.
God bless you. And just stay off the crack and stay off the cheeseburgers and the beers and don't be 400 pounds again and a drug addict. But if that's what you want to do, God bless you. Good for you. Like, you've earned that, right? But, like, I don't know if that's in the best interest of his health to do that, which sounds weird. Like, you're retiring.
No, that doesn't sound weird, Gary. Staying off the crack, staying off the.
Quitting boxing is usually good for your health. Tyson Fury may have to stay in boxing for his health. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get you. I get you. He's kind of suggested that the gym has been his medication to a point. Yeah. He kept his focus, and he's enjoying it all again. But he can't box forever. He can't. And I don't know. I think with Fury is motivation. Once he's done it all, once he's become undisputed, he's beat Wilder, he's beat Joshua, things like that. What else is? I just don't see him fighting the next crop.
I agree with you completely. So we need to move on for the sake of time. Canelo, and we're gonna get to the whole zone topic in a second. But Canelo's next fight has been up in the air in a slight way. Mike Coppinger reported a few days ago that sources, Golden Boy Promotions, has increased its offer to Billy Joe Saunders to $7.75 million for a Canelo Alvarez fight on May 2nd, and a deal is nearing completion, but no agreement on money yet. Eddie Hearns said this wasn't true, but I think that's Eddie Hearns just bullshitting, to be honest. You know, something to like when Leonard Elby says like Pacquiao still with PBC, he's half true. It's not entirely incorrect. Maybe something about this is not entirely correct, but I think part of the number is pretty close, if not correct.
Yeah, it was probably saying that's not true because it is actually agreed, but don't say it too loud because Joe Gallagher's probably reading this.
And then Eddie Renesso was with ES News, and he was interviewed, and he said Billy Joe Saunders was the next opponent. So it does seem like it's back to Billy Joe in some fashion as being the priority for the negotiation, and that seems to be the next guy for that Cinco de Mayo date. I'm just ready for this to be over with and for us to have an official opponent. Guys, any thoughts?
I got to give guys like this credit. You know, I don't have the cojones to do this. Like, you're going to let $7.75 million sit on the table with what's your next best offer to fight someone else? $2 million? Like, good for Billy Joe. Like, get every dime you can get. I wouldn't have the guts to do this. I would have signed on that contract long time ago.
What did Daniel Jacobs get? Can anyone remember?
This is unofficial. I heard it ended up being around almost $13 million when all was said and done.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay. No, go get your money. But if I get $2 million to fight somebody else or 7.5, give me the 7.5.
I understand, but you're looking at, if you're Billy Joe and you're saying that guy who was a one division champion who lost to Triple G, he got 13 million. I'm a 2-division champion, and we all know that second division is not legitimate, but hey, that's what it is. I'm a 2-division champion. I'm undefeated. Jacobs wasn't. I should be getting paid what Jacobs got at least. And that's the mentality, unfortunately. DAZN, Matchroom, the entire box industry is in a weird predicament right now with how overpaid everyone is. And now everyone's wanting to get overpaid. Welcome to the current paradigm of fighter pay in boxing. I don't blame Billy Joe if he's holding off for a few more $1 million, because DAZN has set the precedent now. Sorry. DAZN has laid their own bed to get fucked over negotiations over and over again with how much they paid out to fighters now. Rob?
Yeah. It's been a weird one because they had to come in throwing big money around to get everybody's attention and get the fighters. And now they've kind of settled in. It's like, right, we don't want to keep paying that anymore. And it's difficult to, like, you know, pull the cord and say, no more big payday. Like, all all right, no more signing your fights. And I don't, I want what that guy got. And it is right. I mean, look, at this point, it's kind of weird that Canelo is not the champion in this division. And yet he's got, obviously he's the money guy, right? But it's like, you want my bout, you want this, then I want this. You want what I've got. I know you bring a lot of money, but that guy got 13 million. Kovalev got like 8 figures, right? So fuck you, pay me more if you want me. But always the threat is, well, that guy over there will probably take what I'm offering you now. So that's the whole ballsy move. Do you dig your heels in for everything you can get, or do you risk losing that fight and you're back on a much smaller fight for less money? It's tricky, but yeah, I think Billy Joe any day now is going to get announced as the opponent for Canelo.
I just want to pose this question to you guys because I looked this up. I was curious. Do you guys remember what the disclosed payouts were to Canelo and Triple G for their second fight?
Well, that was pay-per-view fights. I don't remember what disclosed payouts were. I mean,
yeah, not undisclosed. The disclosed payouts.
The disclosed. Yeah, I don't.
The state commission reported purses.
Oh, like 7.5 or something. No, I can't remember now.
Not combined. They're separate. Canelo got paid a disclosed purse of $5 million.
Yeah.
He got paid a disclosed purse of $4 million.
Yeah.
When it comes out that these guys are getting paid disclosed purses of like $10 million for DAZN streaming fights, like, come on, guys. Like, I'm not a rocket science. I'm not a mathematician, but it's pretty fucking obvious that this cannot sustain itself long term.
Hence going global.
And look at that segue king over there, Robert. DAZN expanding to more than 200 territories and countries. And I gotta say that Keith Idek has a pretty good article on Boxing Scene about it that you guys should all check out. I mean, thoughts on this all? Obviously, the debut of it's going to be Canelo. I was wrong. Rob was right. That Canelo will be in the UK. I am curious because they obviously mentioned that in Mexico he still has a TV deal, so that's not going to change. But I am curious about South America because Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador. Those are all countries that Canelo is the closest thing to the superstar there, I would say. Right? He's a Hispanic superstar. If you look at just from Google and search ratings, like he's the biggest star in South America. Like Adrian doesn't beat him. Obviously, no one else does. Like he is the king of the Southwest of the U.S. and Central and South America. So I'm curious because I don't know Canelo's TV deals in South America or Central America, besides Mexico. I'm curious about that. But I think the bigger question is now, because all the Matchroom USA cards will now be on DAZN UK, not Sky Sports. I find that highly, highly interesting. Robbie, you perked ahead like that was weird. The press release says that.
No, I didn't hear what you said. That was just like
all of Matchroom USA. So not Matchroom UK, Matchroom USA. Yeah. They're now going to be on DAZN UK, not Sky Sports.
Yes.
So the start of the DAZN versus Sky beef has begun.
How big of a hit is that to Sky? The Matchroom USA.
You're losing Triple G fights. You're losing Canelo fights. You're losing a Katie Taylor fight, which I thought was really shocking because the Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano fight will be a Matchroom USA fight, and the press release even says that Katie Taylor will be on DAZN, not Sky Sports, for her next fight. Not all of her fights, but when she's on Matchroom cards, that would be on DAZN. So depending who the names are, like Luke Campbell, for example, he's going to be on the Matchroom USA card. He's not going to be on Sky Sports. Now, Rob and I will probably sit here and say, well, it's Luke Campbell and Katie Taylor. You're not losing the Dylan Whites. You're not losing the Joshuas yet, right? But you're still losing some players if you're Sky Sports.
Usyk would also be Matchroom USA.
Yes. But his fight with Chisora will be for Matchroom UK card. So that his next fight will not be on DAZN UK. It will be on Sky because he's fighting with Matchroom UK. Yes.
Sky box office,
which we'll get to. So if you're fighting in the U.S. on a Matchroom U.S. card, you will now be on DAZN UK, not Sky Sports. Rob, since obviously you're in the UK market, and also I want to say that you can now sign up to DAZN in the UK off a beta program right now, even though it hasn't officially launched.
Yeah.
All of you DAZN lovers in the UK, because that's all of you, you better go sign up to that beta, guys. But Rob, thoughts on this shift? Because when we were talking about it before, we were only talking about from the Canelo perspective. I didn't even think about Matchroom US cards and how certain UK fighters end up on Matchroom US cards and how that could affect them being on Sky or not being on Sky. So thoughts on that? Katie Taylor not being on Sky Sports for her next fight. I would say it's kind of a big deal. Am I wrong in that?
Yeah, potentially. I've seen some people saying, so wait, we get that content for free, which instantly was the false statement in his argument because Sky's subscription is very high.
How much is it for our US listeners?
It's like close to $60 a month just for Sky Sports, not Sky Movies, Sky, all your other parts of your package. There's a lot, I think. But yeah, so it was like we were getting that anyway. So now to watch that, I've got to pay another $4.99 or the proposed figure. I've seen other people saying they think it'll be $9.99. I don't know, because I believe,
and it will jump up eventually too. It doesn't matter what it starts at. Yeah. It will jump up.
Yeah. So that person was disgruntled, whereas I've seen a lot of other people saying, "Oh, cool," because but it's going to be the Golden Boy cards and stuff like that as well. On the thing, it looks like it's just going to be the boxing to start with, maybe dribs and drabs of other little bits of content. But yeah, things like Katie Taylor not on Sky. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird little kind of. Although we kind of talked about it last week, and Coppinger brought it up, like this worldwide app. It was kind of like, oh, okay. And like I only brought it up because he seemed to mention it with the Canelo them having worldwide rights, and that's when we got into the debate.
It was a great debate, Rob.
Yeah,
you were right.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, in the end, you're right. In theory, I'm still right. Technically speaking, I'm still right. They could still sign off his rights to other TV networks, like Joe Bukowski was saying in the press release, some of his quotes. I don't know if it's a press release or the article from the other day. We were talking about, we used to, sign off to Fox Sports in Australia and Sky in the UK, and now we can keep that and sort of try to build up our global brand. But yeah, back to you. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just for I guess many people today, and it seemed like a huge, like, wait, what the fuck? DAZN UK? What the 200 countries? What? Like mind blown. Like, so what does that? People like. So, all Matchroom cards going to be on DAZN? People like, no, the ones that read it were like, no, just the US ones for now. Sky have still got a deal with Matchroom up to next year, like halfway through 2021, I think, which I think we can safely say Eddie is probably going to jump ship and move everything over to DAZN.
You think that?
I think so, yeah. I don't think Sky, because it will also coincide with Joshua's contract with Sky running out as well. I think it all goes DAZN. Eddie will go with DAZN, I think.
Look, Matchroom is a very successful company, right? Like they're largely successful due to their other sporting entities. Darts, for example, make them a lot more money than boxing, which is crazy. But it does. Like they're just pure revenue generated because their cost for darts is a lot lower than the cost for boxing. So that's why they're able to make so much more revenue in that sport comparative to boxing. To take, let's say, if they not just boxing, but all of their sporting entities, like all of Matchroom Sports, right? Matchroom Limited, the entire company, to move all of its assets to DAZN to a degree, whatever that may look like, that'd be a massive gamble because Sky Sports is such an entrenched platform and network apparatus that it would just be a huge gamble, in my opinion. When Matchroom in the US, even though it wasn't really called Matchroom US at the time, when they left HBO to DAZN, it kind of made sense because HBO left the boxing industry, right? They left the game. Sky Sports don't want to leave the Matchroom business at all, I would presume. Right? Sky Sports probably get a lot of their business from Matchroom content. So to lose that would be a massive blow for both Sky, and it could be a massive gamble because it may not pay off for Matchroom in the end when it comes to long-term success on DAZN. Because who knows if DAZN is going to be successful in the UK? We don't know.
The thing again, which has been obviously the point in America, is what other rights are they going to get along the way to keep? Because if they get some part of Premier League soccer, if they get football, if they get some of the cricket, like they're going to be in India now. If DAZN get cricket rights in India, there's just DAZN's just going to explode with money. It's just going to be crazy.
Who has the current rights to cricket in India?
Sky have got all I want to say the England national cricket matches. There's a league system. I think. See again, they maybe timed it, or I think they're just trying to do we want to launch. What is the right boxing? Okay, we'll get what we can with that, and when the next bids of whatever come around, then we'll go in heavy for some of those rights. But at the moment, like Premier League is like a lot of it. Sky, BT, I think Amazon have even got some of that, and I don't know quite when that deal is.
Quickly, because just for the sake of time, quick question to you, Rob, and I wanted to Gary. I don't think Gary's really talked about this yet. Question from the chat from Matthew D'Souza: where Eddie jump to DAZN if he doesn't know the nature of the Premier League rights? Like in theory, let's say it comes to that that fork in the road where Eddie can jump ship to DAZN, but DAZN still doesn't have the rights to Premier League and doesn't look like they will. Does he make the jump to DAZN? That's a question for you more than me, to be honest. I would say no if I'm just thinking. If I'm,
I get you because on like Sky News, the scrolling news, 24/7 news, you're gonna have all the football news, and if then like a Joshua fight's pushed after that, they'll have boxers in the studio. They have a good PR and good advertisement and everything like that. It can really push your brand, I guess. Whereas if you make that leap to DAZN, again, how many people outside of people that look out for the boxing know the brand even yet in the UK? They probably don't know what DAZN is either, because it's not been on the radar for anything else other than boxing in the US. And if you're in the boxing community, you know what DAZN is no matter where you are.
There hasn't been any crossover brand awareness via AJ, even though AJ is a Sky fighter, obviously in the UK. But
yeah, I mean, look, every time Buffer announces, Joshua a weigh-in or it's live on DAZN, live on Sky Sports box office and DAZN in the US. People might have heard and see the DAZN branding, but to a casual fan buy it, they know where to buy it when they're here. They're not thinking, I wonder where Americans watch it. It's not. So I don't know, but I still think Eddie's going to jump over to DAZN. I think that's the way it's going to go.
Gary, thoughts on this? DAZN going global, Canelo being the foray into the global app in 200 countries and territories. Thoughts, Gary?
I mean, they have their star to sell this. And
stars too. I mean, in theory,
Canelo's their guy, which they're gonna, logo this. They're gonna brand this with him. I guess we're gonna find out what his star power is globally, worldwide. I don't know. I mean, look, they must have, unless they want a really, really big tax write-off, they're counting this as a really, really big loss, which to me, it seems like it would be. But I don't know. I mean, I'm just looking at this at what this does in the U.S. It doesn't overwhelm me. I don't know what kind of appetite there is for this globally. I mean, I'm sure they've crunched their numbers and done their metrics, and they see how they're going to make money off of this. It just seems like they don't have enough to sell. But I don't know what they're going to offer in every country. So this is what they planned for. I guess they've decided now is their time. So I'm a skeptic, but again, I don't know what they know. So
I mean, look at like match DAZN Italy. They've got the football rights there. So you think on a Saturday, and now Eddie's doing some Italian shows. So you've got football in the afternoon, 3 o'clock kickoff, football match, and then that'll run straight into a boxing event and things like that. So I don't know. It'll be about picking up the rights in certain countries and then leading in with different things. You know, it must be some major headache trying to, you know, having someone, right? You're focused on Albania, right? What do they do? What's you know, you figure out that what are you going to get us for there? So I think they'll be snapping up rights across the world, but I just don't. Do you think ESPN Plus end up doing something like this?
I mean,
to a degree, whatever markets ESPN's in, but they're not. It's a TV network, so it's different. It's automatically different. But I do think, like, you can, in theory, if you're like in Japan, you can get the ESPN app. You may not have access to it because you don't have an ESPN subscription. You're not in the US. But then if you're smart enough, you just use a VPN. I think DAZN, it has such an uphill battle for reasons you guys stated. I don't want to dwell on this too long because we have to move on.
Yeah, and it's negative. It's bringing me down.
Well, I just think that the idea that if you're DAZN, you're such a new entity, you want to be around since 2016. You have markets where you're successful, and don't get me wrong, and we've talked about that, and we've given them their flowers as being a very successful company in Germany, Japan, and Italy. But to be successful in 200 markets is hard. Like, there's not. Think about the massive international corporations we think about, Walmart, Apple. There's markets that they're not successful in. There's markets they don't exist in. Okay, because they just can't feasibly do it. And like Rob said, to have everyone on deck or an entire team in all these locations to get you the rights, to have the money to pay for all these rights in the Philippines, in South Africa, in Kazakhstan, in Colombia, you know, like when you start naming off 200 countries, that becomes difficult to sustain and to support. So it's a very grand ambition by the company. I just don't know if they're able to pull it off in the way they are expecting to be the Netflix.
It is. And if it was a stock and you were long in the stock, I would say go buy it up, keep buying it up, right? Because this is what you were buying it for. And now they're doing it, right? So before May, you want to buy up as much as you can, right? And get in at this price. Now, I know they're a private company, so this is just an analogy. But if you were short, I would say keep shorting it because you thought they were going to tank, and now they're going to tank. So, look, to me, it's like whatever confidence or disconfidence you had in DAZN, it's going to play out right now. If you thought this was going to work, then you think it's going to work. If you thought it was going to fail, then it's probably going to fail. Because what were they in 18 countries, and now they're going to 200?
9.
They were in 9 countries, and now they're going to 200. I mean, they're going all in, you know. So whatever you thought of them, we're going to see that now.
Hey, but they have a deal with Golden Boy for 4 years, so they're in it for the long run, Gary.
This is only
there's no out in that contract at all. Moving on for the sake of time, Alexander Usyk versus Derek Chisora is done deal May 23rd, O2 London for Sky Sports pay-per-view. First off, obviously, I like the fight. I am curious what it does from a pay-per-view perspective. But I like the fight. Like from the pure X and O's perspective, this should have been the first fight for him in this division. It's not. It's the second fight, whatever. He seemed to prolong this heavyweight run, and it seemed to have sort of stunted his momentum, speaking of Usyk. He had all this momentum from the World Boxing Super Series, beat Tony Bellew, and then was like, I'm going to just wait for 9 months, nurse like a little injury, then fight Chaz Witherspoon and wait another 9 months after that. But like I said, I do like the fight. I think Chisora will present some issues for him from his size, from his power perspective, but Usyk should win just due to his brilliant boxing ability. Rob, thoughts on this fight being pay-per-view and quick early prediction of it?
Yeah, I mean, look, no bout on the line. I know that irks some people as far as the pay-per-view, but I don't particularly watch much else, so this is what I do, you know. So it's not breaking the bank, but that's not really the point, I guess. But yeah, no bout on the line. Should it really be pay-per-view? Yeah, probably not. But if it's got, as of late, Eddie's, well, mainly in the US, I guess, but put on some good main events and undercard with it. So hopefully this has got a decent undercard. Yeah, and just as far as the fight, I can't stop thinking of Chisora versus Caballero when Caballero just basically schooled Derek Chisora with a jab and kept him at arm's length. And Derek Chisora, maybe admittedly, I mean, self-admittedly, he said, like, not necessarily up for the fight. It was in that Monaco room with 400 people, a ballroom kind of weird vibe, and he just wasn't really in it. But Caballero boxed his head off, and I'm sure Caballero's a very good boxer, but Usyk is an elite mover, you know. So yeah, but I think the new Chisora that you found seems to have the fans with him and loving life. I'm sure he's going to come and try and really land a bomb on Usyk, and we'll get to find out some questions that need to be asked of Usyk. I think Derek could ask him some of those questions, but yeah, we'll see.
Gary,
I love the fight. I think this is, all the makings of a suspenseful fight. I agree with Matt said. I think Usyk wins it, but you're going to be on your toes because Chisora could end this fight at any time. So, but I think I think Usyk gets through it and wins a wide decision.
I agree, guys. For the sake of just convenience for everyone, we're actually going to end the show here and save the rest of our topics for tomorrow. Because I'm not going to be here for the rest of the week, so tomorrow's going to be our last show for the week. So I want to add some topics to the show artificially, so to speak. So Obali and Donaire being on Showtime with who else is on that card?
That is going to land on,
and Apokadorov is going to be on that card as well on Showtime. Yes. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Josh Taylor, just Progress Hooker, and obviously break down the weekend's cards tomorrow at 2 p.m. So guys, this is going to be it for the show. Final thoughts, guys, because it's late. I know Rob wants to get out of here. It's midnight over there in the UK. We've been on for an hour and 45 minutes. Final thoughts time, guys. Rob.
Yeah. Pretty sure we'll get a Canelo announcement this week. I keep saying that every week, but I think this will be the week, especially off the back of this DAZN going global news, using him as the that face to try and push that. So that's going to be interesting to see. I'm sure more details will come out about this venture. Yeah, glad we finally got the Joshua fight. Looks like we're definitely going to be getting the Wilder fight with Fury. So yeah, things are starting to slot into place, and we can start getting cards filled out, and we can start talking about some fights, because sometimes it's it's other things, and it's like, oh, let's just talk about some fights and who we think is going to win them, because I've got usually a pretty good track record apart from these two guys over here. So yeah, hit that thumbs up, share the show, and catch you on the next one.
First off, Rob, we were both wrong this weekend when it came to the Roman Gonzalez fight, and Gary was right. So
yeah, the sun shines on what was it? Dogs are some days.
Gary, final thoughts?
Happy Independence Day to everyone in Texas.
Independent from who? What?
Mexico.
Oh, okay, I don't know the history. You've told me everything else about Texas other than that.
Now I just lost my train of thought. But we'll be back tomorrow. So I'm sure whatever slipped my mind will be back on my mind tomorrow. Follow me at all forms social media, 3D Boxing blog. From Texas to the world, thank you, and God bless.
Make sure you guys hit the like button, share the show on your guys' way out. Follow us on Patreon as well to help support the channel in any financial way. Just $1 a month is all we're asking. If you listen on podcast forum, drop that 5-star review. And like I said, be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and 10 p.m. UK time. I'm Matt the Hipster Hunter. Find me at Matt Hunter MCR on all social media platforms. Peace.